NBA, LeBron James. NFL, Tom Brady. Soccer, Messi. UFC, Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor was the face of the UFC, but he's been a little inactive. He's a pretty busy guy.
KD all day, baby. KD all day. We see an octagon in here before long, do you think? An octagon, a ring, I'll deal with all the phone box.
Conor is the past, but who is the future? Who is the face of the UFC today? I think there is really only 5 contenders that can be considered the face of the UFC. Starting with Conor McGregor, for obvious reasons. He already was the face of the UFC. But like I said before, this is the future now, and he's not really around as much. So you can't really call him the face anymore. Now, the actual contenders that you could say are the face of the UFC, to start, we have Alexander Volkanovski. Volk is one of the lightweight goats, up there with Conor. But he's really only well known in Australia, and people probably hate on that, but it's kind of true. Unless you're a hardcore fan, you probably don't know him outside of there. I wouldn't even say hardcore fan, just a UFC fan in general. If you ask someone who doesn't watch UFC who their favorite fighter is or who's their most known fighter, they probably won't say Volkanovski. I mean, they put Volk on the cover for UFC 5, so he's definitely moving up in stardom, but for now, he's probably not. But for our third contender, and probably the UFC's biggest letdown in the past few weeks, we have Israel Adesanya. After Izzy's devastating loss to Sean Strickland, can you really call him the face of the UFC anymore? Like, after a brutal knockout on Alex Pereira, Israel Adesanya had so much potential to become the new face of the UFC. But then he lost to Sean, and his path is kind of gone now. Like, he was literally on the cover for both UFC 4 and 5 now. Like, the UFC wanted Izzy to be the next Conor McGregor. But now, since Sean's the champ, things have changed. In a perfect world, Izzy beats Sean, takes back the belt, while Alex Pereira beats Yuri, becomes the light heavyweight champ, and they fight, and Izzy beats him and becomes double champ. And then, and only then, Izzy can be the top guy again. Because that third Alex Pereira fight would be so huge. For the fourth contender, and probably the most likely prospect for the future of the UFC, is Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley has so much potential to become the next Conor McGregor and the face of the UFC. He just became the champ after defeating Aljamain Sterling. He's going to get his win against Cheeto probably in December to rectify his only loss. And yeah, Dana loves him, so he definitely will probably become the face if he continues winning. Maybe if he gets another belt, who knows? I mean, there's already been talks of him fighting Devin Haney or Gervonta Davis in boxing. So he's definitely known, that's for sure. And for the final contender, we have the GOAT, Jon Jones. Obviously, Jon Jones is probably the biggest star right now in the UFC. But he is probably going to retire after this Stipe fight. He will go down as the greatest of all time. But after that, I think he's done. So who is the new face of the UFC? Well, no one yet. I think the UFC has a face for each weight division currently. Flyweight, Brandon Moreno. Bantamweight, Sean O'Malley. Featherweight, Alexander Volkanovski. Lightweight, definitely not Islam, Charles. Middleweight, Izzy. Light heavyweight, Pereira. And heavyweight, of course, Jon Jones. Alright, that's the vid. So what do y'all think? Is there a face or is there not? And who is it?